Welcome to Shokuho, Bannerlord's hottest conversion mode. Set in feudal Japan, packed with new siege mechanics, historical clans, and more katana-slashing samurai than a shonen protagonist's wet dream. But I am not here to follow tradition. I am playing as a samurai with a gun, because if there's one thing more dangerous than a samurai yelling for honor, it's one who says load. Let's get into it. We've got several subcultures to choose inside feudal Japan. Okuriko, the religious extremist that utilizes monks and shrines. Ao, the Japanese Storchians, they like snow. Kanto, the Japanese Kuzites, they like horses. China, the kinky people of Japan, they like to expand their lands and kinkiness. Lastly, we've got Saikai, the Americans of Japan, utilizing heavily on their gunpowder, and obviously I will pick them for my gun quest. As you can see, the character creation is changed. We've got a Japanese model with high quality textures, very high quality indeed. This guy will be our character. I know, he looks amazing, a giant muscle baby. I will be focusing on intelligence attribute, as you don't need to be too skilled to use a gun effectively. I want to pick a starting equipment that has a gun or a two-handed katana, but none of them has neither of it. So I go with the one that has a horse. We will play as a 40-year-old. As for our banner, this one looks familiar. Yes, this one looks very familiar. Our clan name shall be Masake, and our name is Inon. Inon Masake is ready to teach the Japanese the importance of technology and will lead them to Mars. Maximum difficulty, which is now Shogun, and now we are inside the beautiful world of Japan. There's a giant civil war going around the country, and our actions will decide the next Shogun. But first, we need a gun, and for a gun, we need a lot of money. I put all my focus points to athletic and two-handed. Attribute points go on to further intellect Inon. Then I travel to the nearest town. The most reasonable way to earn money at this stage of the game would be winning tournaments, but a little bit combat experience before joining them would be nicer. So I entered an arena, which is completely changed to fit the Japanese aesthetic, to participate in a practice fight. In this mode, instead of the usual battle royale, enemies come one by one to duel you. It is less cheesier than vanilla, and with the cinematic combat mode too, it's so much more fun. Oh, he parries. That's cheating, bro. Sit the fuck down. After getting my ass handled twice and gaining a tiny amount of dinars and XP, I tried for another round. This time, I managed to become one of the last 5 remaining, but then 2 enemies entered to kill me together. Bro, what? Okay. Okay, we have a 1-1-1. Holy shit, that was intense. 250 dinars was our price, and experience gain was negligible. We needed a better way. Even just reaching to 100 will take my whole day. So I started looking for a two-handed civilian katana town after town. While on the way, bandits ganged up on us and stole our money. Inside Kumamoto, I found a simple katana, and with a basket in our head, our civilian gear was ready for action. All of our money were gone now. We got inside the town, which looks gorgeous by the way. Here's the better way, guys. Dealing with thugs inside towns. Yeah, very good. Well, at least you don't get imprisoned when you lose to the thugs, and we got much better XP with what little fighting we did. After my health recovered, I tried again. Run! While I was waiting for my wounds to heal once again, a tournament started inside the town. I joined. Rounds were consisting of infantry battles with two-handed polearms and katanas. After all, it wasn't too much challenging, and now we've got a decent gauntlet, which looks amazing. Then I traveled to the next town, which was also holding a tournament. It was designed just like the one before, and we won ourselves a horse this time. I sold it for 600, as I am not even skilled enough to ride it. Then I joined another tournament inside the following town. Another horse was its prize. The first rounds were easy as always, but at the last round, we were against a Japanese noble. He was constantly faking me by changing his attack directions.
Oh, look at the clans, look at the moves! Faker! What was that?
Only by blocking at the last second, I could bait him to hit and deal 10 damage. One of his overhead strikes crashed through, and with a thrust. What the following days were spent chasing more tournaments. Let's try to clear the clearing. Unlike the ones in Calradia, the Japanese nobles really liked to join their tournaments and they felt much tougher, but the last second parries made it possible to win. After all that grind, we finally had enough gold and we found a market filled with guns. Tanzutsu was faster to reload but dealt less damage, while Samurai Jutsu was slower but dealt 50% more damage. I picked the Samurai one, and with 2 bags of Tepo ammunition, we were ready for war. I tried to take a betting fraud quest, but Merchant was too arrogant to acknowledge the greatness of gunpowder. Fuck you. Afterwards, I joined Caravaneers against a fight with bandits. Inon's aim was awful and reloading the gun took around an hour, but eventually he managed to land a shot. Okay, but he managed to get this. Then he traveled to a village. The headman was having a problem with a missionary. He was forcefully delivering a message from Jesus Christ. Inon was a Christian himself, but this missionary was representing his religion very poorly. So he took the missionary in his party and took him to the nearest port. Everyone was happy and Inon was paid by both sides. Then 6 bandits tried to rob him. It was time for Inon to prove himself. Battle earned Inon plus 15 in gun skill. Then I unlocked the armor piercing perk, as the slow part isn't the aiming but reloading. Another 5 bandits. Then 9. Prisoners and loot got sold. Finally bought a real horse to replace our sumpter. Then caught a bandit party of 8. Then I wanted to help a gang leader against rival gang, but he too didn't acknowledge Inon's strength. But at least a merchant in Fukashi wasn't like them. He trusted Inon to deal with a suspicious horde of merchants outside the town. What he means by merchants are looters trying to sell their loot as legitimate goods. Inon uncovered their secret, and now it was time for a battle. 25 Japanese looters were against Inon and his gun. This time we got plus 24 in guns, an absurd amount of loot, like really absurd amount. Merchant paid us 1000 dinars and we sold the loot for 8000. Then I bought a Bajo Jutsu for faster reload and better aim, as the damage was more than enough against looters right now. Then I found another suspicious merchant quest. Plus 18 in guns and even more money earned. More bandit parties chose that. Then I found a bloody sharper than sword quest. A blacksmith lady was asking us to check on his son who is delivering her supplies to see if he does any funny business. We tracked him down and a funny business he was doing. He was basically selling his mother's katanas to a group of bandits. I asked him to come with me, but he tried to kill us by ganging up with the bandits. 26 looters against Inon. You know how that goes. We shot the merchant's son in the guts. Thankfully, he was still alive and we bring him to his mother. The lady paid us 1k dinars. Then it was time for another suspicious merchant quest inside Osaka. This time, we earned 26 Tamaskini steel as a loot for some reason. Now I wish I was building a blacksmith character. Anyway, more suspicious merchants got brought down. We are basically stealing from thieves to make massive profit. Then I bought a full set of armor for both maximum protection and fashion. From north to south, we visited every town for more quests. Inon's skills grew stronger and stronger. Then I bought a strong horse for 1000 dinars and named him Horse X. She will bond with Inon very hard. Then I bought a sharp katana to upgrade my melee. Then inside another town, I bought a solid Nagamaki, a long two-handed polearm for mounted melee. Another suspicious merchant quest to test it, as the cut through everyone mod is built in inside Shokuho. The long polearms like this are actually weapons of mass destruction and considered a war crime. Even with zero skills, its damage is still bonkers. Then we finally reached our ancestral Gunpowder Island. Now it's time to build our army. Just like the military and so many other troop mods, Shokuho's troops also get separated between levy and noble trees. First can only go up until tier 3, while the second could go all the way up to tier 6. I recruit anything that can hold a gun at this point. Then I accepted another suspicious merchant quest to train my recruits. While they shoot from a safe distance, I continue to train my own skills. With the money earned, I bought many horses to increase my party's speed. More recruits joined, more bandits fell, more soldiers got upgraded. Then I found a wanderer named Yuna the Alone. She was skilled at scouting, just the thing we needed. She asked 7,000 dinars. Inflation was bad in Japan. Then I bought her a bow, and she was ready for combat. I accepted an in and out quest. I had to win a board game to recover the debt of a villager. Thankfully, the game was tablet and not the other weird shit Tailworld put in the game. We won it, and the debt was erased. More bandits fell. Another missionary quest. This time, Inon killed the man to practice his katana. Then I attacked a bandit hideout from a nearby village. The hideouts are looking gorgeous, by the way. After waiting for a few days to recover, I returned and cleared the hideout by shooting from a mile away. Then I cleared another hideout for another village. Then I dealt with an army of poachers. Inon's slick tongue calmed the criminals down. It was time to become a mercenary. I picked the Purple Kingdom. I ain't trying to pronounce their name, as they were one of the two kingdoms that had war on the whole island. Then I started attacking the enemy villages. It was a fantastic way to level up our soldiers. By the way, we reached 10 points in intelligence, finally peaking the human evolution thanks to Inon's bald head. Anyway, here's more raid. We reached Clan Tier 2, but it was too early to give up the advantages of being a mercenary. More recruits joined to fill the party. Caravans in this mode were much slower compared to vanilla, so we abused this by repeatedly destroying the country's economy. But then our kingdom decided to make peace. Inconceivable. Anyways, we gifted all of our low tier levy units to our kingdom's castle to get some influence, which means money in our current state. More than half of our party limit was empty now. We traveled from town to town to fill it with noble troops, killing more bandits along the way. Then a deserter's quest. Their troops were high quality, which means higher quality loot. Inon didn't want the villagers' hard-earned money. He knew their blessings would be more important in the upcoming elections. Then another deserter quest. More recruits joined, including some monks from temples. Afterwards, I found a scene of a post-battle. I could only bring 4 soldiers with me. We tried to get our hands on the loot, but the looters had moved faster. We cleared the first wave, but more of them arrived immediately. Shortly after, we were against the whole army of looters. I don't know what the fuck was that. Anyways, we left the battlefield and continued recruiting. While I was on the north of the island, our kingdom declared war on the Ottomans. The Ottomo. We started attacking their villages. Clan Masake was growing rich once again. Then we started attacking their caravans too. More villages raided, more soldiers promoted. Lords of the Ottomo were on our tail. We returned to the safe lands and did some more quests. Afterwards, we caught an Ottomo vassal leading a party of 85. The enemy hid deep inside the Golden Forest. Inon tried to damage the enemy before his soldiers reached, but got one-shotted instead. Our scout lady led the battlefield and our rifleman finished off the enemy with ease. Inon freed the enemy lord to increase his relations. More caravans got destroyed. I finally changed Bajor Jutsu with Samurai Jutsu, as our damage was no longer enough. Then I caught an enemy party of 117. Our riflemen were formed as 2 lines, as the front crouchers to let the second line fire. Enemy did weird movements while Inon took them one by one. When they finally decided to charge, our gunman and Inon's Naginata made quick work of them. Another lord released, another caravan destroyed, then another Osama vassal got caught, another battlefield where I can't see shit. You guys are lucky, I am bumping the shadows up. Afterwards, we waited a couple of days to turn our influence to money. Then we ended our mercenary contract and sent a messenger to the ruler of Otomo. Turns out he was right in front of me. Anyways, we swore vassalage to him and he gifted us 10 Teppo samurais. Alongside a mediocre katana, Clan Masake had officially entered the politics. Then I started raiding the villages of the kingdom we left minutes ago. Then I caught one of their vassal parties of 130. He was released as well. Then a party of 50. By the way, why every ruler looks exactly the same? More enemy parties got caught. Then we called 3 noble parties to our army and besieged the castle. Guns are broken both ways. Anyways, the scout lady and our soldiers managed to finish the siege. We claimed the castle for ourselves and lost our generous trade. Then we started projects for better prosperity, taxes and garrison wages and put 30,000 dinars to reserve. Then we forced the enemy villages to give our army recruits. An enemy army got cleared before they could assemble. After calling more vessels to our army, we besieged the second castle of the Purple Kingdom. Damn, this map was huge and painful. We claimed this castle as well. Same projects. This made the Purple Kingdom reach 100 war exhaustion, resulting in unavoidable peace. Next day spent recruiting more soldiers and finding companions with good party skills. I gave them good armor and some troops to lead their own parties. When we were done, I was leading a clan-only army of 300. Next, I joined the front on the north against the Yellow Kingdom. Then I called vassal parties to my army and besieged the castle of the Yellow Kingdom. The castle got filled with corpses, but the remnants managed to get inside the keep. Inon took care of them. One more castle for Clan Masake. Then we caught an enemy army of 300 raiding our new village. Afterwards, I started working on refilling my army. Days passed, then I spotted an enemy army of 900 coming to besiege one of my castles. We rushed to get inside the castle. Meanwhile, more vessels joined the enemy army. 1,100 attackers versus 500 defenders. Balance of battle is not looking good. After a few days of engine duel, enemy finally started their assault. Our soldiers were separated between multiple checkpoints inside the castle. Inon waited for the enemy to destroy the gate and unleashed hell after. The first checkpoint got swarmed shortly after. Inon kited the enemy towards the next checkpoint. And he traveled towards the other side, but it fell before he could arrive. Inon cleared the ones chasing him. Then he attacked the enemy horde behind a wooden fence. It wasn't the most efficient solution. Enemy finally started chasing him outside the fence. Inon tried to get inside the remaining checkpoints, but he couldn't because of those damn fences. He accepted his fate and fought until he got knocked out. The enemy was now at the last checkpoint. I was now controlling an unskilled soldier and swinging his shitty katana to do shittier damage, but as long as I stayed on the grass, the enemy was letting me land 3 hits. The entire road was covered with piles of corpses, and I had learned a lesson. Whatever you do, don't let your main character die before the last checkpoint. Many enemy lords got captured. The Greens took a massive hit on war exhaustion. I quickly restocked my troops and caught a small enemy party. then a couple more until I spotted a disbanded enemy army. They were totaling for 240 men. Shouldn't be too hard. Then I besieged the castle. Its garrison was starved on its own for some reason. We started the assault. Another castle for Clan Masake. Then an enemy army of 700 came to besiege one of our castles. Right after that, another army besieged our other newly taken castle. We might lose all of our lands and return to zero. I joined the rebel faction. The balance of power against the royalists almost equalized thanks to Clan Masake. This might be our only chance to get out of the situation. Couple days later, civil war started. Inon bent the knee to the rebel leader. He might be the ruler's twin or something, I don't know. Enemy armies broke their siege, as we are no longer at war with them. All of us had only one enemy, the Ottoman royalists. He caught their leader right away. He was imprisoned. We besieged one of their towns and built every siege engine we could. Then we waited for 14 days to starve their garrison of 200 men. With the balance of power on our side, we started the assault. After selling our prisoners and loot, we besieged one of their castles. No siege engine was needed. Then we besieged another town. We built every siege engine and waited for starvation once again. 6 days later, garrison was starved out and we started the assault. With the renown gained from the siege, Clan Masake had reached Clan Tier 4, meaning Inon is now eligible to be a king. Few days later, civil war ended and Inon bent the knee once again before the council convened to pick the next ruler. No one was enthusiastic for the role, so Inon became the new daimyo without competition. We now had full control over wars, peaces and policies. First, we signed the Royal Guard policy, adding 60 plus to our party limit. Then Sacred Majesty for more daily influence. A couple more policies were added by the mod, but they didn't seem worth it in my opinion. Now it was time for us to end the ongoing wars. I started executing the prisoner lords, as we already secured our crown. More enemy lords got caught, all got executed. The peace treaty with the Greens was signed, then it was Purple's turn. Then came the defense of Aya Castle. With the help of the garrison, our numbers surpassed the enemies. We attacked their siege camp. 4 enemy lords were executed. We gained the deceitful -2 trade, but the clans of our rivals were too crowded. The Japanese honiness, it's different. Executions probably isn't the smartest strategy, but I continued to do it anyways. Lord after lord, heads kept rolling. Then I called my vessels to my army and besieged the last town of the Purples. We started the 400 store garrison. This shouldn't be a challenge. With the town's fall, Purples were no more. Then we declared war on the Sagara, a small kingdom with not much power to challenge us. I called every lord to my army and besieged the castle. The battering ram gave my horse a big massage. Then we besieged their only town. With 1,300 men in our command, there was no need to starve the garrison. Its walls were impenetrable, but its gate was not. Their lords were executed. One of their armies were besieging one of our castles. All the members executed. Our warmongering made our ally, broke our pact, and now it was time for Sagara's last castle and fief. Yeah, turns out it wasn't their last fief, so we traveled to the edge of the map to deal with it. Another rival was erased from our home island, Kyushu. By the way, our build can be considered complete. Both intelligence and social skills got quite high, allowing us to have ton of strong soldiers, but the game was starting to get boring, so I decided to reset my skill and focus points in all intelligence and social skills, then put all of them in my combat skills, totaling 10 focus points each thanks to character reload mode, allowing those skills to get way above 330, which is the vanilla cap, turning Inon from an intelligent leader to a samurai death machine. I know, not very lore accurate. More enemy lords got caught and executed. Now it was time to declare war on the greens. Inon leveled up his combat skills against their parties. Then we break in to defend one of our castles against an army over 600. Inon calmly made his way towards the first checkpoint. Then he calmly shot enemies from distance, letting his man die only to level up his gun skill further. Inon kited the enemy checkpoint after checkpoint. Then he reloaded his gun with arrows and continued shooting. Then he dismounted his horse to fight melee. It wasn't the best idea. Thankfully, our soldiers managed to deal with the remaining enemies, while most of our soldiers were wounded. An enemy lord ambushed us, thinking he could win just because of his numbers. He was dead wrong. More lords got caught, all executed. Then we joined our vassals in a siege. Then we disbanded the armies of our vassals and reunited them all under our command. With 1000 men, we marched towards the enemy. With each battle, Inon's skill grew stronger and stronger. He had become a force of nature, a thunder, a volcano, and a tsunami. But this time, Japanese weren't ready. Greens begged for peace. I rejected all the proposals. It was time to take their huge town, Uchi, but the enemy quickly united to stop us. 700 vs 600, let's go. With Inon gone, our soldiers charged desperately. Enemy riflemen took down many of our men until the lines meet. We eventually managed to win the battle, but the casualties were high. Our numbers weren't enough to take down the city anymore. Starving it wasn't an option, as they had a food stock for 20 days. So, after executing every prisoner, we accepted their peace treaty. Afterwards, I bought many ships to test naval combat. They needed 10 days to build them and costed 340,000. A small kingdom on a different island had taken few of our castles. After restocking our troops, we declared war on them, which also meant declaring war on their ally, which was also on the edge of collapse. Time to return those castles to the natives. The siege dropped Inon's party to 60, so we needed to call our buddies. After their arrival, we ganged on an enemy army. After their defeat, we attacked the second castle. Then we disbanded our army and waited a couple of days to let their final castle get captured by their rival. During this time, Inon flirted with his previous king's daughter. She fallen for him in no time. After taking his father's blessing, Inon and Otomo Yuri were married. May she gave birth to many exes. Meanwhile, the rivals still hadn't managed to take our enemy's last fief, so the task fell to Inon once again. He sailed with his own party towards the enemy's island. We caught a pirate ship on the way. Finally, a chance to test the naval combat. The pirates were trying to board our ships with their boats. Problem is, we had guns. Before the pirates could even close the distance, all of them were dead. Anyways, we joined the siege against our enemy, but right as we did it, their rival left the siege. Not that we needed their help. With their destruction, we can now safely return to our island. Their ally is also destroyed by their rivals. Don't pay attention to the UI, it's bugged. But before returning home, I want to further improve Inon. Yes, our katana is deadly, but this is a samurai with a gun video, and our gun is severely outmatched right now. So I found an item named Explosive Ammo thanks to character reload mode. I added 2 bags of them to my inventory and completely drained my 3 million gold as its price. Let's test it out by declaring war on the yellows, shall we? I guess that's why the developers made them unobtainable, but not unobtainable enough for Inon. Now it's time to take one of their towns. But right after we conquered it, enemy army of 700 came to took it back, so we had to deal with them as well. All the lords executed and we continued our conquest. Castles fell like flies. Then it was time to take Hinoe. The Yellows had only one fief left and it wasn't on our island, so we sailed with our 700 men, most of them riding their horses on water, the horses of Jesus. Anyways, let's assault the last Yellow town. With its fall, the Yellow Kingdom was destroyed as well. Our only rival left in the island is the Greens. But before dealing with them, I wanted to recruit more clans to my kingdom. It feels lonely inside the palace. I checked for fiefless clans across Japan and sent messengers to each of them, which there was a lot of them thanks to Mod's overwhelming amounts of kingdoms and clans. Some pussied out, some joined. I granted castles to all who joined. When I was done, there was 20 clans under the banner of Otomo. Afterwards, I summoned all the lords to my army and declared war on the Greens. First castle fell, and when most of the lords reached the army, we were totaling over 3000 men. As you can guess, the Greens couldn't last long. Well, that might be a problem. Let's try it again. Surely, this time it won't crash. So after leaving that castle alone, I took every land from Greens and made peace with them. Our home island was ours now, excluding the cursed castle. As I don't plan on conquering the entirety of this huge Japan map, this was our final objective. But before I wrap up the video, I want to shit test my build a little bit more. I spent some time on the sea, looking for a huge naval battle, but the lords refused to travel in the sea for some reason, so I had to give up on that idea. Instead, I tried to take an army of 2300 with my 700 army. I really thought this would be hard. Anyways, one last challenge. I disbanded the army and discarded all my troops. Only Inon and his 3 companions were left in the party. Then I attacked an enemy party of 187. I ordered the companions to retreat and started the battle. Okay, we are still at full health. One more try. This time the enemy has more ranged units. Okay, one last try. This time enemy had quite a lot of cavalry too. Nice. This was more of a quickie video, but I promise something big is on the way. See you on the next one, guys.